everybody. Welcome to City Girls Pod. And this is the show where we like talking about all things Sex in the City and anything that Sarah Jessica Parker does. And we are talking about Square Pegs, episode 15 and 16 today. And I don't know about you, Jax, but I think these were pretty fun episodes.
I really liked it. In fact, this is going to be a hot take. I think that the first episode we're going to review was my favorite or second favorite of the series so far. I loved it. I think it's Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
Her best.
I think, nothing will, I don't think ever beat the drama one. That one with her singing and everything. That was really good. And also I would probably put Halloween over this, but this was really fun. I enjoyed it too, for sure.
Yeah. I'm with you in the sense that, yes, I think this is a very close second to the Drama Club one for me, but for me, this one definitely is better than Halloween because it's so great. I just love, I was really excited to talk to you about these two.
Yeah, and it really felt like a early predictor to Girls Just Want to Have Fun, right? This felt like might as well have been the plot.
I absolutely thought that. It was interesting thinking of the early predictor to Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and then I was seeing her as Carrie. Like there was so much there that I was like, oh, this person is a star.
Yeah, it's true. There were a lot of what do they call, not predictors, but hints. Yes. Foreshadowing.
Definitely. 100%.
Yeah. So and it really captured 1982 very well, which was fun. And especially the sequel to Saturday Night Fever, directed by Sly Stallone. The little hint there, that was really funny to me. It's like Staying Alive was a huge flop.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, it has 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
No, are you serious?
0. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's a rare, like it's really hard to get 100%, and it's really hard to get 0. There's usually some wackadoodle who's like,
well, that's what I was gonna say. I didn't even know you could get 0. Like I knew you could, but I didn't know that people actually did.
Yeah, it's it only has 26 reviews on the site, so that's not very many, but they have they say the sequel to Saturday Night Fever is shockingly, embarrassingly, and unnecessary. The sequel to Saturday Night Fever is shockingly embarrassing and unnecessary, trading the original's dramatic depth for a series of uninspired dance sequences.
Yeah.
But it did it was actually, at the time, it opened with the biggest weekend for a musical film ever. Because John Travolta was like the man at this time. Between Grease and Saturday Night Fever, absolutely huge.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, it's an interesting, because that would come out, Staying Alive would come out the next year. So you think of the buzz and everything. It was just funny. It like captured a moment of time of like people that were really excited for the sequel to Saturday Night Fever. It like, it turned out too well.
Nope.
It was really funny. And do you really want to pay $5 for Saturday Night Fever? Which, I was like, wow, that must have been like, because people are always complaining about the price of movie tickets, but if you think $5 in 1982, let's see what the inflation.
Yeah, because I remember going to the movies.
It seems like a lot to
95, and it was like $6 or something.
That's $31.
Wait, what?
Yeah, $5 in 1982 is $31 now. So
yeah, no,
that's
I don't know what
they were
doing. That's a lot of.
So we start out with this introduction, Muffy with the air horn, and now introducing substitute it's our substitute Dingleman, Mr. Donovan. Call me Rob.
Oh my gosh. This opening was so funny. And it's definitely Muffy at her finest too. Like, yeah, she's completely obnoxious throughout this episode, but really, really funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's really funny. And you can tell that they started to realize through the season that Muffy was the standout character. was the funniest character. They really
Definitely.
leaned into her.
You had even said a few episodes ago, or maybe it was the last episode, just how you hope they leaned more into her and you saw them going in that direction. I
Yeah.
definitely really saw this in this episode.
I mean, it's you see that a lot of times in shows. Sometimes it takes a couple seasons, but like when them leaning into Barney Stinson or
Yes.
leaning into Sheldon Cooper, things like that, that they'll sort of realize that, oh, this is the best character to write for.
Mhm. Yeah. And this
Yeah,
is what the audience likes. We're going to give it to them.
yeah, and so they introduce Dan Vermillion, and it still shocked me that you have him in his intro. He's smoking in the school, like you know, it's just like crazy that something like that could so radically change in my lifetime.
Oh, it's wild. It's wild
I
to
was
think how
just
there
like,
used to be
what?
smoking sections of restaurants.
Well,
Like,
yeah, but like in a school, I mean,
the
now
school.
you can't. They have like a warning before an old film on Disney Plus be like characters are smoking, and this thing, it's ridiculous. And then in uh in in the Pinocchio remake, which was absolutely atrocious, they don't have Pinocchio smoking or drinking on
Wait,
uh on
seriously?
on Pleasure Island. No, they have him drinking root beer. I'm like, what on earth? Like the whole point of
Uh,
that sequence in Pleasure Island in the original Pinocchio is that he's doing bad things.
I guess
Like,
they're like, ooh, sugar,
like,
caffeine.
yeah, like what the heck? I mean, if he's just drinking root beer, like how is this any different than Disneyland? I have no idea. Why does he deserve to get turned into a donkey? Like it's ridiculous.
You're like, root beer is not that bad, people.
Yeah, like who watches that? I mean, it's bonkers to me that anyone could watch that scene in the original Pinocchio and be like, the child abuse, like we'll keep that in, but the smoking has to go.
Gotta get rid of it.
The beer, like ridiculous. I said it many times over on my other channel, but that Pinocchio remake was not the Del Toro one. Thank goodness, that was great. But the one that Disney did with Tom Hanks, it might be the worst movie they've ever made. It was absolutely atrocious on every level.
Which is
Every
so
level. Even
sad.
Tom Hanks is terrible. I mean, it was embarrassing.
Isn't it crazy how an incredible actor, like both on screen and off, like Tom Hanks is like regarded as like this incredible person, but
Yeah.
all these doozies. Like, have you ever seen the movie The Circle?
Oh yeah, that one's bad.
What happened? It's an incredible cast.
It's so bad.
And I
I even
watched
read the book.
it.
Oh
You
my
did.
gosh,
Was the
I
book good
did.
though?
It's fine, like for that kind of, dystopian whatever. Like
Sure.
it's kind of like Wrinkle in Time light. But yeah, it's fine. But yeah, oh, that movie is terrible. The Circle is so
It's and like they have the reality show now, which is like terrible, but in a good, fun way. And the movie, I was like, how with all these incredible actors is this movie
yeah,
just a stinker?
it's embarrassing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That movie is embarrassing too. It's bad. Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/hallmarkies. Announces this, it's academical. tournament, and their big rival Longfellow Tech, and they the whole escalator hustle is one of the segments on the thing. It's like they I guess the concept behind this show is that there's some kind of like dancing in the mall,
Yeah.
and then
Figure this out.
this
Yeah.
it's academical is the quiz part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but it was like every part of this really felt like girls just want to have fun.
Oh,
The
definitely.
sneaking around and so much.
The love interest, like,
Yeah.
again, just so charming. Like, I love this guy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just love him.
So Larry, this guy, he had kissed Patty,
Mhm.
but then he was actually dating someone else, college girl.
College, yes.
Yeah. But he's not going out with the college girl anymore.
No, he's not.
So Muffy asks him out, and then she's obviously very interested in Larry.
Interested is definitely a word for it. I mean, she was practically salivating in his presence. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
For it though. She went for it. Girl, shoot your shot.
She says, but she was pretty mean though. She was pushing it for Muffy. She says, I'm surprised you still eat the burgers after what they've done to Lauren.
Rachel, I was like, oh, I didn't think, like, I thought you were type A, stick up your,
Yeah.
not like the kindest, most empathetic person, but I didn't think you were mean and a bully. And I definitely thought you wouldn't make a like fat joke.
Right. Yeah.
I did not like that.
Yeah. But I did like LaDonna in this episode. She was really funny. She's like, I was made for television.
And she was. She's right about that.
Yeah. And I thought it was funny the way that that Muffy claimed, oh well, this can be a pep club expense, and then ended up pounding it off on Patty.
That's me too. I was like, that's 3 people's food. And Larry volunteered to get it, and you said no, I'll do it with the pep club, and then you'll like, come on, girl.
Yeah. So basically, Patty starts to get nervous about Larry and wanting to impress him and everything, and she gets this bad advice from Lauren saying that she can't act too smart.
And of course, she got bad advice from Lauren. Lauren, that's what she does. Yeah, I mean, this is like this classic thing of like, the trope of like guys don't like smart girls, and maybe some don't are intimidated by it, but it's like, of course Larry does. Like, Larry's smart and cares about stuff like that.
Well, and he says, why do you think I went out with the college girl? Because she was smart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky because making that first impression is like, yes, you should be yourself, but maybe not. You don't always want to be like all of yourself in one, in one serving. So like, how much to kind of show in that first interaction? It's hard, like, to know. I mean, obviously I haven't mastered it. I'm single. I'm 43, but it's tricky. It's harder than it sounds. Like, people just say, oh, you should just be yourself. It's not that simple.
I think it's a really good point. Be yourself, but like you're talking about, like all of yourself. Like, I'm not going to go real like deep into all my weird interests immediately. Like, I think that, and also like I'm a very emotional person with a lot of high highs and a lot of low lows. Like, I might not share that initially. Like, there's just like, I agree with you, Rachel. I don't think you should be someone you're not, though. And I think that that's what is tricky about this, is that she's actually just acting like a dum-dum.
Yeah. Well, and she says that make Larry think you are stupider than him. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
And
also, Larry's smart, so like, I don't know. I hope he doesn't feel threatened. And like you can make
No.
him feel like the big man in other ways. You don't have to be like, I don't know the president.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's so swoony when in a show or movie when a guy is like turned on by somebody by a woman being smart or
Yeah.
being a challenge
Mhm.
intellectually and in other ways and not I mean I think unless you're like a villain like a Stan or something you don't want somebody that you can just like walk all over. That's boring.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun for you then.
yeah. And so she kind of blinks out about the presidents and she's just not good at playing a part. I mean, Patty is terrible at it.
And actually, I did appreciate how this really quickly, right away, she was like, "Oh yeah, like here's what happened," and he's like, "No, I like you for you," and I'm
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I'm getting all like, oh, this is so adorable. They're totally gonna be in love." I was getting so excited.
yeah. We also have this thing with Vinny wanting to twirl Jennifer. That was cute.
That was cute. Did he get a haircut? His hair looked different in this episode to me.
Maybe it did. Yeah, you're right. You're
I was like,
right.
"Oh, okay."
Um, so then the one thing I think it's too bad it's only 20 minutes because this girl on Longfellow team, I kind of wish that they had one scene kind of developing her as a character
I agree.
because all of a sudden she was just there and getting all of the questions right. Where that could have been like more of a dynamic between the two of them might have been fun.
I agree. I also thought it would have been more interesting if she wasn't so like to me, she seemed a little bit more like a Muffy. Like I actually would have liked if she would have been really nerdy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I think that would have been cuter and like nerdy and sweet. And then that's why he's into it because she's smart, but also because she seems like sweet and like
Yeah.
confident in her abilities.
And Muffy was like the worst in this competition. She was so frustrating.
Rachel, she could not get it together. I was like, Muffy, what are we
She
doing?
interrupts Patty when she's about to say the right answer and gives the wrong answer. She keeps she doesn't know the answers. It's bad.
It's bad. It's bad. Although I love so much, what is this actor? Is it Martin Mull who played Colonel Mustard in Clue?
Oh
The one,
yeah, yeah. He
oh,
was fun.
he's so good.
Yeah, he was fun. And they say so the Longfellow ends up winning. And it says defeat is romantic. That was funny.
That was really
And Mary from Longfellow is flirting with Larry.
Yeah, I hated the way this happened so fast. Like you said, I think an establishing scene would have been better.
Mhm.
But it is kind of nice. I mean, it's kind of like his thing. He
Yeah.
likes, he really likes smart women.
Yeah, he does.
Like, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just a fun dynamic to see Patty comfortable and grow through this story and this whole
Yeah.
competition and everything. And so yeah, it was a fun one.
Yeah, this was really fun. You really just see how good Sarah Jessica Parker is. How she
Yeah.
can just carry a show. She's so great.
Yeah. I'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's Elise Murray and her exciting book, Society Girl. Set in the mysterious world of Oxford University's secret societies, Society Girl follows Sam, a duke's estranged daughter, as she attempts to join the most famous club of them all, the Animos Society. Her final initiation challenge is simple. Find a man, convince him she's in love with him, and then break his heart in humiliating fashion. Hardened by her father's rejections, believing that the Animos Society is her key to his love and acceptance, Sam throws herself into making Dano Best, her father's chauffeur and local musician, fall for her. But she never counted on falling in love with him right back. Fans of Colleen Hoover, Anna Hong, and Mia Sheridan will love Society Girl, a sweeping romance from bestselling novelist and screenwriter Elise Murray. Free for Kindle Unlimited users for a limited time. Go to elisemurray.com/novels/Society Girl for more information. Or you can use the affiliate link below. All right. So then we had episode 16 is the Steppenwolf's papers. Probably saying that in their name wrong.
You're saying it better than I can say it. Sounds good to me.
I actually think this one was pretty funny too.
Yeah.
So basically you have Lauren getting this crush on this janitor.
Hmm.
And she thinks that it's somehow returned. I think it's returned, which I guess now it would be a lot more uncomfortable than I guess now it would be a lot more comfortable than it was then. But I don't know. I thought it was all kept pretty innocent.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about what I thought was weird, but I thought the way he treated her he was just nice. Like, I didn't
Yeah.
think he did anything weird or flirty at all. It was cute to see her work herself up into a frenzy. No, I think his behavior was totally above board.
Yeah. So it starts out her locker's stuck, and that's when we get the hot janitor. And he made an impression right away.
He's so tall, Rachel.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that I never had any kind of like crush on an adult as a teen. That's just not me as a person. I don't know.
I will say I definitely had a crush on my English teacher and my math
English.
teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't go for it.
Right.
I look back now and I'm like, ooh, weird. But they weren't like young, hot teachers either. I just, I think I confused like feelings of like, oh, they're so cool or like they're so fun
Yeah.
being,
Yeah.
because I was a fairly innocent like
Same.
kid, right? So I feel like that's probably the difference. No, did you have a lot of other crushes?
No. I've always been kind of it takes me a lot to fall.
Yeah.
I'm a I haven't had that many crushes in my day. And maybe it's partly also that I had an older brother who would relentlessly tease me about anything like that. So, I just I didn't.
Didn't give
Even
you
with
the
Hollywood, I was never really that like swoony about stars even. I don't know, it just wasn't me.
Yeah, you're like, nope, I'm not gonna like fall into this.
Yeah. I mean, eventually there was Michael Bublé when I was older.
I mean, that voice, I feel like
Yeah.
whatever, no matter who you are, whether you're attracted to men or not, like that voice,
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, ooh.
But yeah, I mean, I do remember there was a science teacher in high school. I wouldn't say a crush. I did think he was super cool. He was definitely the Robin Williams, Mr. Keating, the type of teacher of the school that everybody was like, I thought he was so great. Of course, that meant the administration hated him because he was actually.
They always
but
do. They always hate the cool ones.
Yeah. I remember him when he was doing the formula for a mole, like figuring out the mole of of course I don't remember the formula, but he would do it as if it was something was dating. He was like, what if there were two? What if there was what? I mean, I can't remember it all, but
That's adorable.
He had it all. It was really funny. And so that's the kind of thing that he would do that would make it very fun. And so that's maybe as close as I got, but most of my teachers were women and I, was not into that. So, so that helped make things a little bit easier.
Doing it for me.
Yeah. So, but anyway, and she does fall really hard. I mean, she goes completely, and she gets this whole file folder full of any interactions that they have had together. And I just got the file, including collecting his cigarette butts.
It is. And then she wrote down the interaction where he sneezed.
Yeah,
He was like,
got you.
oh, girl. He
That's
didn't even,
funny.
no, girl. What are we
But what I liked is so Marshall's getting jealous, and I'm like, oh, they really should have gone this way with Marshall and
I know.
Lauren. They would make so much sense. It'd be so good.
Yeah. Like that kind of seeing that too kind of broke my heart. I was like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
are we gonna get that this season? Maybe.
Hmm.
I would love
Yeah.
that.
The the thing I don't know if I thought it was like cringe or funny, but it was a little bit funny though, was sort of this rivalry that develops between Miss Loomis
Okay.
and Lauren.
So here's the only part that it's exactly what you said. It's a little cringe that Miss Loomis, look, is it funny? And it's not like it's inappropriate. It's just like Miss Loomis is like she just comes off as so weird and desperate. It makes me
Yeah.
laugh so much.
She's definitely kind of predatory. The
Yeah.
like making the classroom super hot and just to get an excuse for him to come up and change. And like the man deserves to be able to do his job without like getting hit on by students and teachers.
And like the students, it's almost like, okay, well, like that is
They
what it
don't
is.
know
But like,
better.
yes, like a teacher's almost, it's not like she's his boss, right? They don't know better, but it's not like she's his boss, but she is sort of in a position of power, Miss Loomis. So yeah,
Uh-huh.
I got all the ick. And then when she was like being competitive with Patty, I was like, girl, what are we doing? Especially because we also know that this teacher is the same teacher that has had like sleepovers with the girls.
Right. Yeah, that's
What is
true.
happening?
Yeah.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
And then Lauren gets really mad at Patty for not guarding her file folder with her life.
Come on.
He says
Good.
if Jennifer finds out, everyone finds out.
Yes, and that's true.
Yes. That basement felt really creepy. Like this episode could have easily been a horror movie.
Oh, Rachel, I thought the
Down in
same
that
thing when they get
basement.
down there. And then even when his dad, it's his dad there instead, I was like, this feels icky too now.
Yeah, yeah. And I liked when Johnny and Marshall were debating Munsters versus the Addams Family.
That was
That was
funny.
funny.
Where do you stand in that debate?
I'm definitely team Addams Family.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say those movies, it's been a while since I saw them, but I think that it's probably one of the better television to movie adaptations,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
the first one.
Yeah, definitely. The musical's kind of fun too.
The
Munsters
musical's
are fun.
fun. I hate that closing song of Act One, the full disclosure. Oh my gosh, I hate it so much. It's so long.
And it doesn't feel, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a closing of Act One number to me.
No, I was just, the show would be so much better if they literally had like like a 2 sentence scene where they just shared a little bit of plot detail, and we did not have that song. But it has some really nice moments. I like Happy Sad.
Oh, I love
Gomez
that
sings.
one.
I think
Yeah.
that's a really good song. And if you get a good Morticia and Gomez who have nice chemistry, it really can go a long way making it work.
For sure.
Yeah. And so that was so yeah, Addams Family definitely. I mean, I haven't watched that much of Munsters, but
Growing up on Nick at Night, and it was cute.
yeah. But then we have let's see here. Mr. Clean, Lauren's Dream. That was funny.
He was
Yeah,
cute.
and I like it when so yeah, I like Miss Loomis' behavior wasn't the best, but when they were actually like fighting over the mop, that was kind of funny. I thought
Great TV. Great
yeah,
TV.
that was funny.
And at least it's the best kind of like not the best behavior because it didn't come from the guy, it came from her competing with like a high school student.
Yeah.
So it's fine. Like it's just a little bit like, oh girl, what?
It's a little silly. Yeah.
Little...
It says after 40, I plan to lie about my age. And I used to think, oh, that's so lame that because I'm the nanny, you know, she's 29 forever. And nobody knows her actual age. And I mean, I thought it was funny, but I also thought, oh, it's so lame when people do that. But now that I'm in my 40s, I kind of get it because I really don't feel any different than in my 20s. I feel the same. And so it's just weird. It's strange.
It's interesting because I really get that. And I feel like I thought my brain would change more or
me too.
My lifestyle or something, but it hasn't.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't know what I thought, but I definitely thought it would be a little bit different than
But no.
But you know, so I get that kind of wanting to hang on to it.
For sure. When you also don't feel like it represents like how you feel, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, it's just sad that some people they see that higher age and they immediately kind of put you in a different category or a different box as far as dating, at least.
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
for sure. For sure.
And then we have that so this Steve guy, the janitor guy, he doesn't recognize her at all. She and Lauren thinks they have this like whole relationship. And I like it. This is a relationship that only exists in your head.
Crushed. The thing was, I feel like this guy would have vaguely recognized her, like, oh yeah, hi.
Yeah, something like that.
He was like nothing.
But I can see too when you've got like this sea of teens, you know, that maybe you wouldn't remember. But I do think there is something to the effect of sometimes we have like conversations with people in our heads and you just think like I didn't actually have that conversation with that person. I just thought about it and thought about what they would say, and then my reply would be
I've created a whole world.
Yeah.
And that world does not in fact exist in reality.
Yeah. And so then she confesses her love, but it's the dad. It's the old janitor.
Oh my gosh. I love that he's really back funny. At work and single apparently.
Yeah. That was very cute and funny. And so yeah, I mean, like I said, I think both these episodes were a lot of fun. I enjoyed them. And we're heading over the home stretch. Only have 2 more recaps left.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how the season will wrap up because were we saying we don't know if they knew that it was last season, so we don't know how if they're going to tie things on? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think they knew, and so yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, it's not too much of a cliffhanger.
I know. I was thinking that too. Oh my gosh, I just want her to kiss Larry.
Oh, I know. And like the cliffhanger for Christy. Did you ever watch the Christy show?
No.
Kelly Martin. Don't watch it. It's they end it on like the biggest cliffhanger ever, and then it didn't get picked up for season 2.
And, they thought we're gonna tease them with this.
And so then they have this like TV movie, not without anybody except for one of the dudes. Everybody, like Kelly Martin's not back and other things, but it's like everybody had to watch it because it's like you have to know how it's gonna end.
Oh my gosh, Rachel. So
it literally ends with there's the 2 guys.
Yeah.
This lovely, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna make my decision. Which one am I gonna pick? and that's it. Cut.
Nope. No. And they tie it up in the movie.
Yes. But like I said, it doesn't even have Kelly Martin in it.
So like, what do you do with that? She was like, I'm done. Thank you very much.
So anyway, yeah, I hope they don't do that. But if you are listening, let us know what you think of these 2 episodes. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And Jax, where can people find you?
Jacqueline Collier on Instagram.
And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, you can follow us at City Girls Pod on Twitter and at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We sure appreciate that. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. And we also have the Patreon group and merch store. So check that out. And thanks so much, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.